Hello and welcome back to another cast. This time it's a custom game played on the Neurox's Mapgen. And it's a 7v7. So I'm probably gonna lose a lot, probably gonna miss a lot of shit on this. I hope you're okay with that. But yeah, let's get started and let's get into player introductions. I think I'm gonna go down to like -4 to do the introductions. And let's start right down here in the bottom with the southern team, which is team 1. We have Hyper, going Cypern in a darkish green, opening first land. Let's go to the north, to the northeast for now. There we have Bark, also Cypern in grey, opening first land. To the northwest we have Dark Sentinel in a light purple, opening first land, also a Cybran. A lot of Cybrans. To the south we have, to the south we have a Raw X Legit in orange as a UEF, also opening first land. To the west we have Shirakami in blue as Seraphim, opening first land. To the south in brown we have Jagdsource as a Cybran, also opening first land. And to the west of that we have in purple Rekator, opening first air as Cybran. So not everyone actually opening first land down here. Some other stuff as well. Right, for the northern team we have, right in the back, Twitchy Mofo, opening first land as UEF in yellow. To the south of that we have Frost Monster, also a UEF, in white, opening first land. We have to the southeast in red Gamer9 in red going Aeon, opening first land. To the north of that we have Banther Fodder in Piss Yellow as Cybran, opening first land. To the east of that in green we have Crusader Nova in green, opening first land as Aeon. To the north we have in hot pink Mech as Cybran, opening first land. And last but not least we have Warlock in a grayish green or dark grey, not sure, going Cybran, also opening first land. Right. Ratings, we have basically everything from 800 up to 1800. 800 being Dark Sentinel, 1800 being Warlock. So yeah. This is a bit of a longer game. It has a lot of back and forth, a lot of experimentals, a lot of everything. So I'm bound to miss a lot of stuff. But this is gonna be a good one, I believe. If I'm actually able to cast it properly. Which I hope I am. But yeah. Just some early expansion out from the players, so let's take a look at Reclaim. As per usual, Reclaim mostly around the mountains and stuff like that, as the Mapgen likes to do, and as a lot of mappers also do, with a bunch of rocks being, larger rocks being spread around just over the open. A lot of maxes, typical Mapgen, and the map is very even, but without any plateaus or stuff like that. But of course these mountains that are just spread over the entire map, like, I don't know, Acne or something like that. I don't know where I was going with that. Yeah. Right, Air Factory being queued up for Warlock. And no second factories other than that queued up for the northern team, I believe. Never mind, there's also an Air Factory going out for Banther Fodder. And also one queued up for Mech. and Crusade Nova. So apparently most players for the northern team going second air. The south we have second air for Jagdsource. Of course, first air for Rakator, as I already pointed out earlier, with quite a few land factories now being built up around the Hydro. And no air factory queued up yet, or second factory at all for Shirokami. Not a land factory going out for Rorax legit. But yeah. We're only 2 minutes in, so of course there aren't going to be too many factories out. ACU is pushing towards the middle. And let's take a look at quite early mass. It's basically even, as you would expect when the players are still just grabbing their maxes, not actually any upgrading to be done or something like that. Though Team 2 seems to be just very slightly behind, with 10 mass. Right. I'm not sure if I pointed that out or if I actually made a mistake earlier, but Team 2 is the team in the south, Team 1, the one at the top, as I think is normal. So yeah. I also think during the introductions I may have mentioned some colors for the players multiple times. I'm sorry, I got confused with what I easily forget what I said just seconds ago, so stuff like that is bound to happen. Especially during introductions, which are very repetitive, where I'm not sure if I actually pointed stuff out already or if I just pointed out for a previous player. Right, but additional spam factories are also going up for Gamer. I think a lot of those players already having been featured in a previous cast. So yeah. Some coordination already going on in chat. And apparently Warlock asked that there be no snipes till he completely fucks over Warlock. Not Warlock, till he completely fucks over Dark Sentinel. With some very interesting way to phrase that. And Hyper agreeing to that. Hyper being the air player for the Southern team, of course, so yeah. There's not going to be snipe on the highest rated player this game. Or at least not an early snipe. Also, this being mirror balance, this is looking quite bad for Dark Sentinel. As well as for Barge, who are both very much lower rated than their opponents on this flank. Of course, the same goes for Frost Monster, and to some extent also Gamer, who are up against Wagathor and Shirokami. So yeah. I think the stats have not been exactly mirror balanced, but whatever. We are at 93% game balance, so it's good enough. And mirror balance is of course also... I mean, mirror balance doesn't really affect that, but... believe me when I tell you that this game is very much even. Right, Frost Monster going for some... for the additional production land factories quite a bit out. Up here. And some air scouts already out for the northern team. Don't think there are any air scouts out from the southern team yet. Well, there are some being built from Wagathor, but those will but I believe they may be stalling because those seem to be building quite slowly. Yeah, that's quite a bad mass stall this early on, so of course it's gonna take a while. None of the commanders actually engaging each other yet, so still pretty relaxed for the players. Except of course for Dark Sentinel and Frost Monster, who are probably sweating bullets right now, just from knowing who their opponents are. A feeling that I know very well because those two players are in my exact rating range. So yeah, and I've made a few experiences when playing against players of somewhat or even significantly higher rating, and those experiences are usually not fun. So yeah. This is... not sure what I just want to say again. Yeah, there's a transport out from Mapgen now going down here to grab some of these Maxes. But there's already some Mech Marines and a Snoop out as well. That's why it was going this slowly. I set it on -4. God, I'm stupid. I was wondering why nothing was going on. Yeah, okay. Now it's actually also moving a bit faster. I guess if you actually put it up to normal game speed, that does work out somewhat. Who would have thunk it? Yeah, but this game will definitely be very interesting. And some spam factories now out from... wait. Yeah, from Warlock. I did not see that... well, that's not a mistake. That's Warlock building spam factories right on the front door of Dark Sentinel. That would be very painful. That's for sure. Right, Gamer now moving up with the ACU quite a bit, quite aggressively. Well, okay, not too much. This is basically the middle line. And Dark Sentinel trying to take out the space, but there's already an APD emplacement which is making pushing this quite a bit harder, especially without overcharge. I don't think there's any E-storages built up yet. No, there isn't. They are currently being built up. And already 3 of them. I definitely approve of that because it's what I also tend to do. It allows you to overcharge for quite a bit of damage early on. Of course, a very heavy investment, but if you intend to use your com quite aggressively, I have made some good experiences by doing that. But gun upgrade already going out for Warlock. And it's also going up quite quickly. At the same time, gun also going out, up for Panther fodder. And T2 for Shirikami. I'm probably gonna have some difficulties pronouncing that quickly because, yeah, no, I'm not too great with pronunciation of Japanese or Japanese sounding names. Right. There, Bark already has a gun upgrade. Now moving up. And there's now also a gun going up for Bakathor. So, yeah. Okay, Crusader Nova going sensors. A very cool upgrade, very cheap. And, of course, very effective, giving you massive view and omni range. At the same time, it obviously locks you out from your gun speed upgrade as Aeon, since the Aeon gun upgrade is split onto the 2 arms. Panther Fodder now also going stealth. And I don't see any upgrades, any other upgrades currently going on. No? Okay. Right, just as I said that Frost Monster is going T2. I suspect 2 PD creep. And T2 also now going up for Gamer. I mean, yeah, sensors with advanced range and overcharge is of course still quite powerful. Yeah. I can definitely see that. But I don't think you really need sensors late game if you have proper Omni coverage or Rider coverage, so you could as well. You could also just go with gun speed. Like if you don't mess up late game, you don't really, you won't really be reliant on the sensors upgrade for anything. So might as well go for gun speed then. Fair enough, Cyclone gets stealth. I guess you're right on that. Right, Warlock now killing Dark Sentinel. Yeah, I guess stealth is actually pretty painful, you're right on that. Especially against the com, yeah. Fair enough. Dark Sentinel already taking quite a bit of damage. But still getting out of there. Somewhat. Well, say that, but I believe they are still in range of Warlock. And okay, Bark is now moving up on the flank, which is currently quite exposed, since the ACU from Warlock is down here running down Sentinel. And yeah, I believe Sentinel is going to die here. Don't think there's any way around that. Down to 1.2k HP. 700, 500, 100, dead. Yeah. And with that we have the first ejection of the lowest rated player, Dark Sentinel. Okay, Warlock apparently questioning the 800 rating. Maybe because the gameplay was too good for 800, maybe it was too bad, I don't know. I'm not sure what that was about. I did not pay enough attention to that to actually judge that properly, but it didn't seem too bad, so yeah, I don't know. Right, Panther Fodder now pushing Raw Legit. And I'm probably gonna pronounce that differently each time I say that name, to be honest. But yeah. That gun stealth com, of course, being quite effective on that. Yaxos now getting Nano down here. And so is Swaggether. With another 12 seconds on that. So that will probably finish. And make a quite dangerous com to deal with. There is now Clinker Emma up here for Frost Monster. Creating a massive Norman stand, basically. If it's being defended properly. Warlock now going for stealth. And yeah, a light skirmish, or well, I said light skirmish, not really a light skirmish, a skirmish going on between a Gamer and a Wackerfell, which Gamer appears to be winning, even though they are currently not properly macroing the auras and just pushing them in. But they are just winning through sheer numbers. The aurora, of course, being made out of aluminum foil, and thus very easy to kill compared to other tanks. Like, the Mantis has 270 HP, the Aurora has 155. That's a massive difference. Right, and also Nano out for Warlock. So, yeah. The RT probably trying to kill this PD here, which will be quite annoying. Gamer having a small firebase with 2 PDs and a stealth field gen. Not sure what is with the stealth fields, but that some players like to put into their firebases, but well, I'm not sure how effective they are. I'd guess not too effective, since when you actually put scouts overhead, you of course know that there is a firebase, or if you run into it head first. Worst case for the player that has a firebase being here that if the player runs into head first and actually has a force that's big enough to run the firebase, you're just losing that firebase, since you don't have that dissuading factor as long as it's not scouted with that stealth field. But yeah. T3 Air is out for Twitching Mofo, and also for, not Warlock, for Hyper. That's the name. There's also T3 Land, that which is going immediately for Percy's out from Rorik's Legit, with T2 Cyberland. There is T2 Land out from Bark. Some T3 Air actually out from Jagdsource with T2 Land. T2 Land out from Shirikami. And T2 Land out for Rekatha. For the northern team there is T3 Land for Warlock. T2 it seems like. Yes, T2 with T3 upgrade currently in the works for Crusader Nova. T2 for Danverfodder. T2 for Gamer, who just control K'd all of their factories. Maybe to get some more eco. Maybe also to support some T2 factories up here on the front. And there is T2 out for T2, which is going T3 out for Frostmonster. I believe that is all players right now. I believe that accounts for everyone. Crusader Nova now going for Shield. And a TML launcher that already got 1.5k mass killed out for Warlock. Probably some poor mechs that just got sniped. It currently appears to be launching, but it doesn't have a missile loaded, so that's still gonna take a while. Okay, Banther Fodder and Gamer now pushing Shirikami on this flank, on the western flank. And there does not appear too much, doesn't look like there's too much in the way of counters to that right now. Like there are some stingers out for Rorik's Legit. That can be somewhat helpful, but seems like that's it right now. Also, there is a T3 Air as well out for Mac. Not sure if I pointed that out earlier, but now I definitely have. Currently no aggregate out for Hyper. And an aggregate in the works for Jagdsource. There's a small aggregate that's currently being built up by Twitchy Mofo. And also a small aggregate, if you can call it that, which is currently not being built up. So a very small aggregate, to be honest, for Mac. Right. The stingers on here in the south were sufficient to dissuade this force from continuing its push inwards. And Twitchy Mofo just advised the team to build flag. Always a good move. Even if your team has air, you should always build at least some AA for your pushes, because the air player can never be everywhere, so having something to at least distract and also deal some damage to any attempted air response is always nice to have. And flag is also still very effective at T3 against gunships, which are probably the biggest threat to any normal land pushers. So yeah. Some poor energies just marching into the range of this PD. Oh well, whatever. And okay, there's some team D right here that just shot down the missiles. So so the southern team is aware of the missile launcher and has responded accordingly. Wakefel potentially trying to push in with the com against this firebase. A very bold move, considering the fact that there are quite a few triads here and also a decently sized force of units with a gun com. I mean, Nano is good and all, but I don't think it's going to be sufficient to deal with all of this. So I think Wakefel should be a bit more careful. Especially since the com is now visible and thus being shot up by the triads. On the other hand, the com will obviously also regen itself quite quickly, so I'll have to pull it back. I think I may have just missed a small airfight up here, where some whalers are now taking out Maxes out from Warlock. Though due to some suboptimal turns, the Air Force, the ASF out from Hyper were not able to save the gunships from the ASF responses of Twitchy Mofo and Mac. I believe that Twitchy Mofo may actually win this airfight. I think they may have a higher number of ASF right now, so yeah. Well, it is pretty close, but yeah, Twitchy Mofo is winning this. With some better turns. Here we now see Percival's against Bricks, which are supported by some Obsidians and Asylums. And some general T2. But Percy is making a quick work of that, so yeah. And overkilling the Ouroboros by so much that there's not even reclaim left. Shirakami has been pushed back in the middle by a force of from Gamer and Buffalo Fodder. Though there does not appear to be a large amount of T3 out from Either so the decently sized T3 Force of Offense out from Shirakami will be able to thin this army out quite easily. So yeah. Oh. Some strats out from Mac just managed to snipe out Rocketfall. The strats of course being Revenants and thus having stealth, being hard to detect. A very big problem since since you would need your ASF to be right up there with your forces if there's enough strats for a sufficient for a proper snipe. And if you don't have that, you're basically guaranteed to be successful since you will see them coming in way too late. Exactly what just happened here. A small push of rhinos moving up here in the north for the southern team for Bark. But some T1 PD to basically just force it back a bit is enough to make it to make them rethink the push. So yeah, with this T3 max being surviving without many issues. Dolphins down here in the middle now pushing on Panther Fodder, who will probably go down to this because Nano and Gun is not sufficient to deal with this amount of T3 land, and there is no supporting, there aren't any supporting forces, so that's just gonna get a kill. That is. Some Continentals completely filled with RT in the meantime out for Twitchy Mofo. Maybe trying to get an auto drop into the back to deal some harassment damage. And some early tele defense coming out from Hyper. As well as Shirakami. And Warlock just put an experimental, I believe that's Megalith. Yes, it is. Completely missed that, being under construction. But yeah, there is no count experimental currently anywhere near finished. There is a Megalith started from Bark, but that's currently not being worked on. And it's basically just started, so that's still quite a bit off. And there doesn't appear to be any other experimentals currently in the books. So let's take a look at ecos. We have total eco for the for Team 1, the team in the north, being 1.3k, and total eco for the southern team being 1.6k. With highest eco being Warlock at 461, followed by Shirakami at 419, and with them being followed by Hyper at 346, and yeah, I think the highest three should be the most important. Most players, with the exception of Frost Monster, Crusader Nova and Gamer, above 200 eco. I say that and Twitch Mofo immediately drops below 200 eco. I suspect that is reclaim related. So yeah. Right, Artie got dropped somewhere down here and is now just moving past, being somewhat annoying. Probably gonna get at least one T2 max, I believe. Might have also gotten this max, not sure. Or maybe it's not gonna get anything because it's just gonna go down to the T1 bombers. No, I think the... yeah, that max will probably go down, yeah. In the meantime, Megalith has arrived at the front lines, so and is now bearing down on some reclaim entries. Nice to see everyone being on top of their reclaim. An airfight out, which goes in favor of the northern team, with Hyper losing basically all of their ASF. Partially due to Jagdsource, who has a significant amount of the southern team ASF force not being, not actually having any involvement in that engagement. Okay, Panther reminding his team to build SMD. At 25 minutes, that's a very good call. Of course, scouting would still be good to figure out if there is a nuke. And the Fat Boy started for Frost Monster. Are there any other experiments currently in the works? Yes, there is a marquee out for a Warlock. Or, it's not out yet, but it's currently being built. Meantime, let's take a look at the southern team. Hyper going for a line for the air grid. Somewhat unusual, but whatever floats your boat, I guess. Bark having has finished the Megalith and has now queued up Naughty. Not started it, but already queued it up. That will, of course, be quite a headache if that finishes. And yeah. But no SMDs out yet for the southern team. Okay, Mac going for Teleporter. In the meantime, Hyper going for Gun. Maybe to actually get a Telesnipe, who knows. Or to go for the Telesnipe com. Also getting up quite a bit of E-storage. Reasonable since the Teleporter and laser upgrades are both quite heavy on E. And a bunch of strike bombers coming out. Going for Royx Legit. And dropping their bombs. Royx Legit noticing way too late and dying. Yes, the last one came in a bit late. These ones could of course have been noticed a bit earlier because there is actual land right here which would have seen them coming, but well, it wasn't noticed, so that's that. And since that Megalith is not halfway done yet, it is not going to be gifted over when before share. Yes, and will just die. Some strats now coming out from Hyper. Let's see about those. And Cloaking going up for Jagdsource. Northern team has now realized that the RT is being built, or Panther has. Always nice if the dead players stay in game and just ping out targets of opportunity or important stuff, since that saves the air player the work of having to always keep an eye on the scouting stuff. Also, Hyper not going for laser, so yeah, probably going for that telecom. Just like Mac. I hear a chicken. Right down here in the middle. I missed that being built by Shirakami. And a chicken with quite a large amount of offense now pushing into this. Where force primarily made up of Harbingers. And some sniper bots and even more Harbingers coming out to support from Crusader Nova. Okay, Shirakami currently apparently not really able to make up their mind. Or maybe just pathfinding being a bit weird. I'm moving around that first before marching on. It's probably just pathfinding being weird. Okay, but turning back with that chicken, maybe to keep the range advantage, I would guess. But now we've been looking, okay. And teleporter now started for hyper. The artillery is at around, yeah, 3/4 done. And there are 2 bugs already queued up. Let's see how they will get used. And a whole bunch of strats also out for Yaxos. Chicken goes down, but the army is still alive, and yeah, there isn't really anything that to contest it anymore. There are a few bricks, but not too much, and there are also some bricks out for Shirokami. Richimofo telling his teammates to get safe from Tali. A very reasonable move since teleporter is currently being built by Hypocrite. And not Hypocrite. Where did I get Hypocrite from? By Hyper. Who is Hypocrite? I don't know. I don't know where the name that came from. Very sorry about that. Yeah. No. Hyper. And a whole bunch of strats now moving in on the Smegalith. Probably not enough to get one pass, but they will deal quite heavy damage to that. Yeah. Meglyph, of course, being the tankiest unit in the game, and the only unit to actually, as far as I'm aware, take without any veterans, see survive a normal nuke directly to the face. As, if I remember correctly, the normal nuke deals 100,000 damage on the inner damage ring. Could also be confusing that with the naval nuke, not sure right now. But yeah. Of course, this amount of strats not being sufficient to kill that. Okay. Any stand-off technology being built up by the northern team? There's only a GC, which isn't really a standoff, out from Crusader Nova. And of course the teleporter out from Mac. But no actual stand-off technology. Warlock going for more grabs. A decent call, since those are usually quite effective. And the RT has been finished up for Bark, who instead of building the bugs that they queued up earlier is now instead building some Meglyphs. Also a very good call. Especially since air is still very much contested and air experimentals, of course, in contested air can be a Feast of Famine situation. And a Hub of Famine has now also been started by Shirokami. If that finishes without the northern team actually starting up any stand-off tech of their own, that would put them at a 2 artillery disadvantage. Which would of course be very much devastating. And RT now starting to bear down on next base. Dealing quite a bit of damage. And with the second and third shot basically taking out most of that aircraft. Quite surprising considering the fact that Cypern RT is known for being highly inaccurate. But let's take a look at ASF counts. Let's start with Hyper, where we have 386 or 389 with, if you count the ones currently out of fuel. Quickly going up with more ASF constantly being built. And another 25 out from Yaxos, so let's just say roughly 400. And for northern team we have Kuchimofo with 188, a lot lower, and MacX with 117, so Southern team currently having a significant advantage on the ASF game. Also having a very large amount of strats, which could be used very effectively. And of course take out very important players. But no airfights currently brewing, so yeah. There is, however, this megalith right here. Not sure if that's the first one or or a later one, but it definitely got quite a bit of value at nearly 90,000 mass killed, which is quite a bit for land experimentals, especially if they don't actually kill a base. And the disruptor seems to have retargeted onto the base of Twitchy Mofo. Right here in the back, some Novexes have been queued up quite sneakily, with a small mass fab grid having been started and a stealth and shield gen being queued up to hide the project that's currently going on there. The GC down here dealing, sucking up this army. Of course, no longer as dangerous with those Structure Claws as it once was. Still very dangerous, but it was a lot worse at some point a few patches ago. Like a year ago or so now. Right, and we're now going down to actually -1, due to me also recording this at the same time. The player's right now actually down to -4. Since there is a massive F-fight going on between Hyper, Twitchy Mofo, and Mac, which due to sense might actually go in favor of the Northern team, with a massive amount of strat bombers moving in. Moving past the base of Thrust Monster and all the Zams there, and thus being basically completely shut down by ASF and stuff like that. Managing to take out the shield, but not actually able to get a second pass off, and thus leaving these ACUs basically completely healthy. In the meantime, a Novex has been started for Frost Monster. Right, but Hyper does actually end up winning this fight. Dark finishes a Spider. Okay. A Megalith has been started for Shirakami. And the Hammerfam has been finished. It is currently aligning. And that puts the Southern team at a 2 artillery advantage, with 2 artilleries against none. Something you don't like to see, because artillery can be quite devastating. But also taking out quite a bit of the tele defenses. Partially due to the strat snap, I believe, partially also just due to artillery fire. And Mac now going for laser. In the meantime, Hyper has finished their upgrades. And Panther Fodder pointing out that there needs to be more tele defense. But yeah, now Air seems to be firmly in control of the Southern team. Dark finishes another experimental. Another Spider, okay. Rockefeller now pointing out position of SMDs. Is there a nuke out? Don't believe there is. There's also no nuke queued up as far as I'm aware. GC out from gamers, so everyone starts building experimentals now. A lot of pushes going on all over the map. Hard to keep up with all of them. But up here for a Warlock is still pressuring very hard with a Maglev at full health and a Sneaky Monkey Lord right here at the side with more being built. Maybe getting some run-bys with those. But yeah, the Maglev out from Bark up here is now probably gonna go down. Spider is moving in, but already retreating because, yeah, there's way too much shit up here. A somewhat large wall of whalers now moving in towards this area. Now moving in towards the middle. Maybe hoping to kill some of these red Sakus. Which would of course deal quite a bit of damage to the eco. And the constant artillery fire has led to this area being, to the accurate from Twitchy-Mofo being basically completely obliterated. Ravagers up here with the no-back centers have been queued up as well, as some tower defense. Ravagers of course being the worst kind of tower defense for the one teleporting in, since they have the highest range of all PDs. And the first Novax is already pretty far along. Okay, artillery has retargeted onto mech space. And the shields don't seem to be holding up too well. Unsurprising considering the fact that there are currently two arties bearing down on that. Are there any more currently being queued up? I don't believe there are. Right, and there's a nuke launcher going up for Hyper. Anything like nuke launchers going up for the other team? Yes. Crusader Nova is currently also building a nuke launcher. And also has an SMD up here already, which is loaded twice, so that's not too big of a problem. And I just missed that. I believe that mech just got hit by a stray arty shell directly to the face. Since they were killed by Shirakami, I suppose it was a Harbor Farm shell. And thus died. Unsurprisingly, an arty shell directly to the face is very deadly. There was a scaffold started up here, but that is not far enough along to actually be gifted over after full share, so never mind, actually, as it was started by Warlock, I guess. So yeah, there is no scaffolds going up, very slowly, but it is going up. And yeah. The Novax for Frost Monster finished. And where's the satellite? Not sure where the satellite is right now. Ah, right above Shirakami's call. Okay. Another Novax going up to Chimofo, of course. As already pointed out, which is nearly done now. Is there anything, any response to that Scathless that's being built by Warlock? I mean, there are of course the artists that already exist, and the nuke launcher going up for Hyper. But I believe, yes, that nuke launcher would fly, or that nuke would have to fly straight over this SMD, so not too effective. Most of the Northbound team actually does have access to, SMDs. Okay. Frost Monster now actually taking some arty shells directly to the face as well. So Frost Monster in response pulling back out of that base. Viper having finished the tally upgrades but not actually tallying yet. And the shield here collapsing. Not too surprising since that's only a ED1. So a very basic shield. And the Novak Center has been finished for Twitchy-Mofo, with the second one being started immediately. So Mass Novax is a valid response against standoff technology because it is quite effective. Novax is now also going up for Shirikami. So Shirikami probably just thinking, hey, I can do that as well. And massive amounts of whalers now wailing down on this land push. Thank you. I guess I just take my prize now after this horrible pun, but yeah, whatever. Yeah, that's currently holding off this land push, but will probably not last forever. Also, since there is currently another land push going on in the east as well, with the northern team now forcing the southern team back in on both flanks. And Warlock now going just for mass Medusas. Let's take a look at mass. Team 1 is now ahead by around 600 to 700 mass a second income, at 2.9 to 3k mass income. These specs probably being retail related. And also having more mass total now. So the map control paying out for them, just having access to more maxes. With Warlock having most of their maxes on T2, and also the highest eco with that. Followed by Shirikami, who has around 400 mass less, and Hyper, who has just above half of that eco. So yeah, Warlock basically being able to do whatever they want. Now also, and also has a nuke launcher now. On the note of nuke launchers, how's this one looking? Right, the nuke launcher for Crusader Nova has been finished and is nearly loaded, due to receiving some very heavy assistance. And yeah, the position up here for Gamer just having been massively reinforced with a lot of radiance, thus being almost impossible to kill from RT, of course. But the RTs have now been retargeted to this position up here, since this is where the Novaxes are. So yeah.
Strategic launch detected.
Right, a second RT going up for Bark. However, a nuke has just been launched towards that. And there does not appear to be any SMD. So these RTs will go down. Not even sure if the second RT will even finish. It might. Just about. It's gonna be very close. Right, Twitchy, not sure what happened here. I think Twitchy-Mofo may have just tele-sniped Warlock, but died in return due to maybe the Ravagers, maybe some other stuff that I did not see. Anyway, they went down, so yeah. That brightens up the entire map now, with Twitchy-Mofo taking over all of that territory and all of those units. The Scathers having not been built sufficiently to actually be gifted over, and now Scathers having been started by Yaxos. So yeah. More Monkey Lords going up for Crusade Nova, who has been given the entire flag. Fair enough. And a second nuke launcher now going up for Crusade Nova. Also reasonable since they have a insane eco right now. But so does Jagdsource since they inherited basically the entire base of Hyper. And that nuke launcher is still quite a bit of actually loading. Bichimofo just finished the second Novax. And of course there's only one RT left that's now firing there after the Disruptor went down to that nuke. There's an SMD now right here for Jagdsource that would most likely defend all of this, but it's not yet loaded and sure is there... Oh, the other nukes looking. They're also quite a bit off. This Jagdsource stalling. Quite heavily, yes. Like there's currently still some mass in the bank, but that's not going out for long with that massive weapon that death large. And now there's a massive stall, so that SMD will not load. I mean, stalling is also quite understandable building in Scathers, to be fair. But it is quite problematic if your opponent has multiple nukes and you don't have a loaded SMD. Right, multiple Fat Boys from Shirikami now helping defend up here against a GC. As well as Maglev up here tanking the damage from the GC and all of this. And a whole lot of idle wings. But yeah, the eastern, not the eastern, the western front has somewhat stabilized. The push got pushed back, potentially due to all these Rylers that are currently down here. And that Scathers is going up very quickly. Okay, I was just confused about that a bit. Thank you, Pi, for that raid. Welcome to the stream, currently casting. I hope you had a nice stream and a few nice games. Right, I was about to point out that Crusade Nova just started a Scathers up here again, or restarted the Scathers. Also hi to you, Armed. That is also going up quite quickly since Twitchimofo also has a rather large eco. Really, it's not. I'm gonna have to check that later. Good to know that the alert, that the stream alerts don't actually show up. I mean, I know they don't come through on the recording. I would have guessed that they at least come through on the stream. But yeah, apparently I'm wrong. And yeah, Novax from Shirikami now focusing on these nukes here, which are almost loaded now, with the SMD here not being loaded yet. Huh. Interesting. That's weird. Right, the Scath is finished. There is a Novax on top of that. I guess I'm gonna have to look into that after this cast. But yeah. Right, the third and fourth Novax already started for Twitchimofo. Somewhere there's a chicken fighting. Right, down here. Also with Fat Boy. But there are multiple GCs, so while they are going down quite quickly, this is going to be a complete massacre. Well, first gunships definitely. But yeah, the Scav is dealing quite a bit of damage now.
Strategic launch detected.
But the nukes are now launching. First nuke launched from this nuke launcher, another one already out from this one.
Strategic launch detected.
And more shields going up as well. And also another nuke going up from the Liberator up here. The Scav up here is about to finish. But that RT shell will land and take out one of the nuke launchers. Well, let's figure it out. No, it's not. They don't know that there's anything up here. I mean, there's also stealth fields, so yeah. That's gonna be a very bad surprise for them. Yeah, especially since I believe this Gave is about to go down to this nuke. Since this SMD is still not loaded. Yeah, and thus the Scalefest goes down. It got a last shot off, but yeah. And now the Northern Scalef is just finished and is about to open up. And with that, I think it's now pretty clear where this game is going. With the Southern team being down one player and also now being behind on standoff technology. With only one T3 RT against 3 nuke launchers, or wait, no, 2 nuke launchers, one of them just died. As well as multiple Novexes and a Scathers. So yeah. That Scath is of course going to do devastating amounts of damage. But Yaxos trying to deal some damage with the Whalers pushing in. But the lot of hypersort aircraft has now gone down due to the nukes, so... and now also due to Scalefest fire. So yeah, that the air will probably not be reproduced, and Twitchimov will rebuild their aircraft. Right. But there is this massive cloud of whalers. Let's see how many these are. These are nearly 100 whalers are now locking in onto Crusader Nova, so Deadcom is dead for sure. That sound gone different? I think that may just be a bug on Twitch. Try reloading the page. Twitch sometimes does that. Right, but the whalers now going... but the whalers now being mostly dealt with by SAMs and Flag. No longer with most of them having died. Right, and there are also a lot of Cougars in here, so these are gonna be... well, okay, they're not gonna be too effective against the Whalers because Cougars are of course only a single target, but there are also very large amounts of Flag in here, which are actually quite effective against gunships. With a Fat Boy trying to defend against that, but one Fat Boy of course not being nearly sufficient. And SMDs now being targeted down. Okay, there's a nuke out from this nuke silo, out from Yaxos. But this... right, I think it's being used defensively. No, it's not. But I think it's going up for this base up here, but there is an SMD, even if it is heavily damaged. So yeah. That will get shot down. And with this massive land push now coming in, the power of them is also likely to go down any moment now. So yeah. and the SMD has also died. But yeah, there's nowhere near enough defense now to properly stop this push. However, in the meantime, the north has been somewhat liberated. There's still a whole bunch of mid users just running by, but it's looking a lot better now, due to Twitchimofo probably just being limited on IPM. At the same time, Twitchimofo is now sitting at over 2k mass income. So yeah, that is something to be worried about. With also the Saffron team now being over 1000 mass behind on income. I don't believe that there's any way for the Saffron team to be winning this now. Now with the other Novax is finished, which puts the total of Novax up to 5, I believe. Has Novax here survived? No, it hasn't. Okay, so 4. So, but 4 Novaxes and now also 2 Dukes out from Frost Monster. Right, the Scalpers went down to something. I sadly missed that, because there's so much going on. Didn't see what that died to. But yeah. The Novax is now focusing down these 2 comps here. And massive land pushes coming out from the side. Just getting deeper and deeper into the space.
Strategic launch detected.
And there's now a nuke just going for this area. I don't believe no, there's no SMD currently, so yeah. Yeah, especially in conjunction with the RTs, this is gonna be very bad. Shirikami risking to move below these shields, which will probably be okay since they have nano, and I think that may be advanced nano. With that region, it probably is advanced nano, to be honest. But yeah, the nuke is somewhere. The nuke may have been shot down by an SMD I did not see. It probably was. Right. And Yaxos now having Cloak and going for Laser. So trying to go out with Bang, I guess. With a com as hard to kill as possible. With as much DPS as possible. Right, Blue is currently pushing up in the north. Still taking out a lot of the stuff that formerly belonged to Warlord. Thanks for winning that out. Did not pay too much attention to that, but actually getting into the main base here, killing the nuke launcher. And there isn't really anything that would be enough to counter this. Like, there's a whole bunch of bricks and also quite a few possibles. And where there is one Monkey Lord and a few bricks, it's nowhere near enough to stop this army, I believe. With even more coming in the form of reinforcements. So yeah. There's a whole bunch of T1BD right here. And an SMD that's about to go down. And that may be the only SMD to protect this flank, so that is actually quite a valuable thing to pick up. But the nuke launcher is about to go down, so it's no longer too important. Since killing SMD isn't really worth too much if you don't have a nuke. And the Saffron team now no longer has a nuke. The Northern team now also has almost double the mass of the Southern team, making this even worse. And while there are a lot of experimentals currently going down, Just killing experimentals is not gonna save you if you're being killed by standoff technology. So there is a... Also, no one currently making effort trying to retake these nexus, which is not really a good sign, because that also prevents the Saffron team from actually getting back into this by potentially catching up on eco, which would be very important. And another scaffold started for Tuchimofo now. Again. And that's also quite far along, but no longer as much power on it as the previous one, so it's gonna take a bit. But killing all of those maxes has knocked down the Northern team's economy by quite a bit now. The economy disadvantage is no longer quite as bad. And there doesn't seem to be an effort from the Northern team either to retake those maxes, so... yeah. Whatever. I guess you don't need to retake your maxes if your opponent doesn't do that either. Except you obviously do. Because... max is always good to have. Right, not nuke going in. There is no longer any SMD that could potentially save here, so Bark is probably just gonna go down to that nuke. If not to just the no-baxes. Now that the shield's collapsed. And the artifier out from these dukes is also causing quite a few problems now, since, yeah, those make shielding against no-maxes even harder, since the shields are always going to be weakened. But the no-maxes just picked up Bark, so it's only Shirikami and Yaxos left now. Okay, Yaxos finished the laser upgrade. Is now trying to move in. I'm not sure if they potentially have sufficient Omni coverage to just find that AC immediately. But yeah. The massive Whaler Cloud now taking out the some experimentals up here and basically making this push a lot harder. But there are a lot of flags now going up, and those will those will quite effectively dispose of these gunships. And even though Shirikami does have advanced nano, that's of course not enough to deal with four satellites, since those have quite a ridiculous DPS. So yeah. But the Novax is for now retargeting on probably the power infrastructure right here, which will also lead a problem for Yaxos, that without power the cloak will not work, and thus the comm will be easily visible. Something that you don't want to happen if you have a cloaked comm, obviously. But the Saffron team decided to recall, a reasonable move, because I don't believe there was a way of winning this. Right. Yeah, Gamer also pointing out if this wasn't the most epic game. It was definitely very epic, and I had my difficulties actually commenting on it properly. But I hope you enjoyed this cast. I hope to see you again in a future cast. This was streamed live on Twitch. If YouTube would allow me to actually put links into my description, which it currently sadly doesn't, I would put a link to my Twitch in the description, but I'll have to do that in a month or two from uploading, after uploading this. And because YouTube is currently a bitch about it, and yeah. Exactly, very bad YouTube. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed this cast, hope to see you again in a future cast, and till then, Bye!